excuse me. Hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, but time is going to pass regardless. And I can tell you from experience that nothing sucks more than getting 5, 10 years down the road and nothing's changed. Okay, I'm still hot. My dad's place, it's he's on the top floor of his building, and you literally can feel as you come up the levels, you can feel it getting warmer with each. I haven't checked today, but it's been averaging about 85 to 90 in here most days. And the thing is, it's Alaska. It's only hot like this a couple of weeks out of the year, so nobody really has air conditioning. So it's hot. So you can probably hear my fan. I know it's obnoxious, but it is what it is. This is actually one of my very favorite topics, and that's why I cover it every few months. One, it's just super important. It truly is. But I really like this because to get a medical person's perspective on chronic illness, I thought personally it was invaluable. Now I say that as somebody with chronic illness I don't make a big secret of it. I'm not a huge fan of the medical community. They just, I know there's a lot of really caring doctors out there, but there's also a lot of egotistical jackasses. And anyway, we're not going to go down that road. This information is from a website called themighty.com. And the Mighty is a really good resource for people who have good grief, chronic illnesses, and or disabilities. So let's get into it. 11 things that a doctor with chronic illness wishes that y'all knew. Number one, this shouldn't have to be said. It really shouldn't. But here we are. Nobody wants to be sick. Why the hell does that even need to be said? But not only did it need to be said, this doctor felt it was important enough to make it the first thing on the list. That is really sad. And it says a lot about how healthy people perceive us. But nobody wanted this. None of us asked for this. We'd love to have our health back. We're just looking for answers. We're just looking for help. Although that's why I'm not a fan of the medical community, because frankly they don't do shit for us. Excuse my language, but they don't. They don't. They went from stuffing us full of pain pills. They used to give me Vicodin. Oh my gosh, I was taking 3 or 4 Vicodin a day. And I hate the stuff. I finally told my doctor I can't do this anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Narcotics tend to make me really stiff and agitated. Well, I'm already stiff from the fibromyalgia. I don't need help with that. And I don't need help being agitated, frankly, because I don't get enough sleep because of the fibromyalgia and the Hashimoto's. I don't need help with that. Plus the damage it does to your body. That being said, the pendulum has swung entirely too far the other direction. And now it's like, oh, you have 2 chronic pain conditions? Go take some Tylenol. Yeah, kiss my ass. Anyway, sorry. Editorial over. Number 2, most doctors don't get it. And this is coming from a medical professional. Isn't that awful? But, until very recently, the assumption was that people like me were just crazy. Yeah, there's probably a little bit of that. They used to think that with people with chronic pain that it was depression and anxiety driving that. Well, okay, it's a factor. But which came first, the chicken or the egg? How long do you think you could hold out without your depression and anxiety getting bad if you are in constant, okay, not constant, that's an exaggeration, nearly constant pain? It's hard not to get depressed. It's hard not to be full of anxiety, especially when the pendulum has swung so far in the other direction that you don't have any relief available. I tell you, if I can break the pain cycle, that's all I need. I need to be able to break the pain cycle once in a while. And I successfully did that with medications for years without overtaking. It doesn't matter. I don't get to be judged on my own merits anymore, which, yeah, anyway, sorry. I keep telling myself, stick to the topic. Don't editorialize. But, this, even today, there's a lot of doctors out there, despite mountains of evidence, there are a lot of doctors out there who will just blow people like me off. And, I think it is really I think those are the egotistical ones. And we don't fit into a nice little tidy pigeonhole. Therefore, we're a problem and they don't want to deal with us. But if you're in a small town, you're probably not going to find a doctor who knows much about your condition if you're suffering. That's just a fact. So my advice to you, if you can't find a doctor who knows anything about your condition, find a doctor who is at least willing to listen to you. Now, granted, I know from experience that's easier said than done, but I also know from experience that there are doctors like that out there. So keep at it. Just keep trying. And if you have to, see about telemedicine. I mean, look, they're not going to give you any pharmaceutical help anyway. So if you need to find a doctor who's going to listen to you, I highly recommend you check out telemedicine if you don't have one available face to face. Number 3, again, things that really shouldn't need to be said. Being unable to work, it's not a vacation. And this really hits home to me more now than it ever has. And I've talked about this every few months for a couple of years now. But most people who have chronic illnesses, they want to work, but they can't. They're unable to. Being too sick to be a productive member of society is not fun. It sucks. Our lives quickly can turn into nothing but just pain and medical appointments, and there's not a lot happy or positive going on in that. I like to work because it gives me a sense of accomplishment. It gives me a sense of value, a sense of worth. I'm doing something. I'm contributing. I'm not just taking. Now, all that being said, I got to tell y'all, I don't see how it could, sorry, I'm hot. I don't think it could still be related to the Cymbalta. I really don't. But ever since I went on that stuff, now I got to be honest, I have a friend who takes it and has done really, really well with it. It destroyed me. I mean, truly, if I were not as self-aware as I am, and I don't think I'm all that self-aware, but it destroyed me emotionally. It destroyed me physically. And what the hell was my point? Oh, I know what my point was. I told you this needed to be talked about because this is where I'm at. But my health has declined so much since I took that crap. I'm actually considering filing for disability. And the main reason I don't are, well, the reasons I just listed. I want to feel productive. I want to feel like I have a purpose and a value. I don't want to just sit here and rot. That being said, I really don't know how, if things don't change, I don't know how I can go back to working full time. I'm off contract right now for the summer. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. And I won't say I've never felt that way, but I haven't felt this way in a very, very long time. And it's upsetting. It's distressing. I don't want to be there. What, that's no life. But I'm starting to feel boxed in and like I don't have a lot of choices. Anyway, boo freaking who. Number 4. Oh, it's a good segue into number 4. The emotional aspect of chronic pain is so underrated. This stuff, chronic pain can actually change the biochemistry of the mood control center of your brain. Isn't that crazy? Excuse me. And we do have a lot of depression and anxiety, and it's caused by things like the wait and search for a diagnosis. It can take years. If you have weird health stuff, it can take forever for them to figure out what the hell is going on with you. The inability to work and to feel productive. It's depressing. The change in family dynamics. If you don't think your family dynamics change when one of you suddenly can't uphold your end of the bargain anymore, then you don't know anybody who's dealing with this. Because let me tell you, it changes everything. Social isolation. Oh my gosh. Our worlds shrink so incredibly small. I make a point of befriending people at my doctor's offices. Why? Because I spend a lot of time there. I I like to be greeted warmly and genuinely when I come in. And that my clinic here, my longtime clinic here in Alaska, I knew who had kids and who didn't, and roughly how, I didn't know all of them, how old their kids were and stuff, but I knew enough that they could tell I had a genuine interest in them. And you know what? As a result, they took a genuine interest in me. But that's sad that my social life was so poor that I had to make friends at the doctor's office. Financial stress is tremendous. This shit's expensive, y'all. It's just expensive. There's no way around it. Um, I have migraine headaches. I get severe migraine headaches. I go in for Botox for the migraines 4 times a year. It's $3 grand a pop. I have another medication I'm supposed to take every month. I don't. It's $3 grand a pop. Even if you have insurance, even if you have good insurance, this shit's expensive. That's stressful. We struggle with simple daily tasks. Like I'm a bath freak. I love to take a bath. I would rather take a bath than a shower. I often will take a bath before I go to work just because I like baths. I like baths. I've always liked them, but now with my health issues, my legs don't hurt as much when I'm in the tub. And sometimes that's about the only point in my day that my legs aren't killing me. But I know if I clean my bathroom, like on a day like this, for example, if I clean my bathroom, it's going to throw me into a flare. I'm going to pay a high toll for doing a simple chore. Cleaning your bathroom it shouldn't be a big deal. It's not like I've got a, mansion for a bathroom. I've got just a tiny little bathroom. There's a lot of grief involved with this. There's a ton of grief involved with this. We just want to be able to look forward to our future. Now, a lot of people would tell you they just want their old life back. I do not want my old life back. Why? Because I didn't like the person I used to be. That's one thing. It's one really big benefit that I've gained from all this health crap is I've learned to be a more positive and kinder and more empathetic person. So I don't want my old life back. But I would really like to have a life back. I'd like to have a life that's not revolving around this crap. Number 5, symptoms are very complex. Now, obviously, this is going to vary illness to illness. However, there are a lot of commonalities among chronic illness / chronic pain. Extreme fatigue, um, pain, brain fog, nausea. Oh my God, the nausea. That's another thing. Since this involved, my nausea has been freaking through the roof. It's just horrible. Vertigo, and the pain is intense. It gets your joints, it gets your muscles, your nerves, your back, your neck. Headaches. For me, it's my IT. My IT bands are the freaking bane of my existence. My IT bands and my shoulders hurt all the damn time. The symptoms wax and wane, which makes it really hard to make plans. And those inconsistencies, it's frustrating. You could call me, hey, you want to go out to dinner this weekend? And today, by gosh, you bet your ass I want to go out to dinner this weekend. That sounds amazing. Well, then the weekend comes and I'm flaring. I don't want to go out to dinner. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be social. Well, I was going to say you'd be surprised how many people get mad at us about that, but maybe you wouldn't. But a lot of people get pissed off about that. I've been called a flake so many times, and it's like, I'm terribly sorry that my chronic health conditions are so inconvenient for you. Excuse me. And that's the social isolation of it. There's not a lot of people I'm willing to make plans with. Number 6, chronic illness fatigue goes so far beyond just being tired. It's overwhelming. It's so overwhelming. It's easily triggered by simple daily activities and big events. Like I freaking love going to conferences. I'm a conference junkie. If I could afford it, I'd go to conferences at least once a month. I love them. Spending a weekend with positive, motivated, happy people. Hell yes, sign me up. I love that kind of thing. But it's a big weekend for me. It takes a tremendous toll. Now, especially, I haven't been to a conference since I moved to Texas, but traveling from Alaska to conferences. Well, y'all, I've got a full day's flight just to get to Seattle. By the time I go through security, get to Seattle, get my bags, and get out of the airport, it's a full day. So if I go any further, it's a long trip. And then, of course, during the conference, I'm up late. I'm up. I'm up early. I'm not eating right. I'm not on my normal schedule at all, and it throws everything into chaos. And I know I'm going to pay a hell of a high price for that. But I still like to go, and I'd go in a second. I really would. But when the fatigue hits, rest is not optional. There have been more times than I can count where I'm so tired, I seriously almost pass out, like to the point my eyes will start rolling back in my head. I'm not exaggerating. Thankfully, that doesn't happen often, but it's really unsettling when it does. And you know what? When I get like that, it's usually when my body hurts so damn bad that I can't relax enough to sleep. Ain't that the shit? They say, the ubiquitous they say that a good day for someone like me would put you in bed. A good day for someone like me, I have no idea how they would ever measure this, but they say it's like you having the flu body aches. Well, how productive were you the last time you had the flu? And that's a good day for me. Of course, you do get used to some of it. Um, but when the fatigue, oh shit, I'm off. But when the fatigue hits, rest is not optional. I mean, literally, I hit the last weekend. I hit the wall. I could not. I got out of bed for a couple of hours, and I couldn't function. I had to lay down. Um, we're not lazy. Okay, I can kind of be lazy. I'll own it. But for the most part, we're not lazy. We just can't. What is it? I literally can't even. Number 7, brain fog is maddening. Oh my gosh, this is probably the hardest symptom to try to describe to people, but it's a legitimate cognitive dysfunction that leaves you struggling for words. It leaves you. I remember I was talking to somebody about fibromyalgia. This was a few years ago, and it's a topic I know well, and I was like really impassioned, and I'm right in the middle of it, and I didn't just forget what I was saying. It actually had to sit here and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm thinking, okay, this is Alberto. I know that. But what the hell are we even talking about? Fortunately, he was very gracious about it. But that's embarrassing. And I know everybody does that once in a while, but it happens to us a lot. It impacts our concentration and our recall. The best way I can think of to describe it, it's like my head is really tightly packed with cotton, and my thoughts are trying to fight their way out, and it really sucks. Number 8, we have a greater risk of serious infections. Well, of course, our bodies are freaking exhausted from fighting itself all day, and a minor cold for you can put somebody like me out for days or weeks. I work with a guy. I'm sure y'all can hear that. I used to work with the guy. He retired. Nice guy, except he was one of those people that would come to work sick no matter what. And it's like, dude, I know you've got plenty of leave. Stay the hell home. Well, one day he was in, and those of you who know me are probably not going to be surprised by this. I'm a knick-knack girl, and I always have knickknacks on my desk. And he's in there, and he's futzing around with all my knickknacks, and he's telling me how sick he is. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing at my desk? And I literally chewed his ass all the way to his office, like a dog on his heels, and nip, nip, nip. And what are you doing? And don't you know what this means to me? And then I had to stop what I was doing and clean everything that he had touched on my desk. So if you're sick and you work with someone who has chronic illness, now look, I understand not everybody's in the position to be able to stay home. I get that. But if you can't stay home, do, because you don't get any brownie points for going in sick. All you do is spread your germs and piss everybody else off. And if you can't afford to stay home, avoid your chronically ill coworkers as much as possible. They will thank you. But just tell them, I'm sick. I don't want to get you sick. Number 9, foods can trigger symptoms. Yes, they can. And you know what really sucks when you get overtired and you just can't anymore? There's not a lot of really healthy food that's grab and go. But gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, yeast, booze, processed foods, all that shit is inflammatory, and all of that's going to cause a response in your body, and it's not going to be a pleasant one. No. Maybe you eat really well. Maybe you eat really, really healthy, but there's just something every once in a while where you just, what the hell, I feel terrible. You know what you got to do? You got to keep a food journal, because even healthy foods, everybody is different. You might have an inflammatory response to something that's considered healthy for the average person. Again, everybody is different. Not just because it works for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you might have to keep a food journal. And I'll be honest, I am terrible at keeping a food journal. I absolutely hate food journals, but they can be really beneficial. Number 10, sensitivity to smells is common. Yes, I used to freaking love expensive perfumes. I don't wear them anymore, mostly because the smells usually, it's not that I don't like the smell, I do, but anything more than a hint, and it's too much for me. Um, Perfumes, colognes, cleaning supplies, smoke, cleaning supplies. So I like to, when I was going to the office still, the building that I've been working in the last few years has an enclosed, it's got a couple of stairwells, but it has an enclosed stairwell. And I started up to the next floor one day, and I had stuff on my mind. So I, get through the doorway, and I'm about halfway up the stairs, and all of a sudden it hit me. Oh crap. They changed cleaning solutions, and whatever they were using smelled so bad to me that by the time I made it to the next door, and I literally just burst out of that door, I was sweating, I was shaking, I was nauseous, and that was literally just seconds in the stairwell. It has that kind of impact. I used to clean with bleach. I can't use bleach anymore. I hardly ever use bleach for anything anymore because the smell is overwhelming to me. And finally, number 11, management takes a ton of effort. We lead very regimented lives, um, medication schedules. We need to go to bed at the same time. We need to get up at the same time. We really should stay on a very healthy diet and probably should eat roughly the same time. Um, we have to avoid trigger foods. We have to worry about trigger smells. We have to we have to balance all this stuff and still try to live our lives. And you know what? Sometimes we just want to throw caution to the wind and go out and pretend we're normal people. And we want to go out and eat and drink all the things that we're not supposed to eat and drink. And you know what? If we do that, don't say a freaking word. That's not your it's not your place. Mind your damn business. We know that we're going to feel like crap from it. We know that. But sometimes you just want to go out and be normal. Well, pretend to be normal. Anyway, that's all I have. I need to go because I got a ton of things I have to do. Um, I'll be back Wednesday, but I might end up taking a week or so, maybe even two off from videos. I got a lot of shit going on right now. My life is a little chaotic, and that's just all I'm willing to share right now. So, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know more Wednesday, and I'll probably, even if I take a formal break, I'll probably pop on real quick here and there. But I think I'm going to probably take a break just to try to get my mind wrapped around a lot of what's going on. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will be back Wednesday, roughly the same time, so 6:30ish Alaska time, probably. That's another reason. It's just been I've been so damn inconsistent this summer. It's very frustrating for me, but it's just where things are at right now. Y'all